Welcome to Equal Time Soccer. I'm Matt Prowatsky here with a mega Gopher Soccer transfer show. We are going one by one through the four big transfer announcements the Gophers have had this winter. First up is Camellia. I think you said you go by Cam, so I was saying Cam.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Welcome. Come in here. Cam played 40 games at Montana, earned Big Sky honors, career 838 save percentage. I think you have 3 years left. First question, you are Canadian. You went to Montana. Now you're coming to Minnesota. Why are you so damn obsessed with snow, Cam? Like, what's the deal? Like, how did you end up at Minnesota? How did this happen?
I guess you stick to what you're familiar with, and, I chose snow all the way. And, even like through my recruiting in high school, I never really thought about, going anywhere that was like super hot. And personally, in my opinion, I think that I'd much rather layer. You can always put on as many layers as you need, but if you get hot, there's only so many layers you can take off. So
that's true. I mean, people can see what I'm doing. My house, I keep my house at like 59 degrees. I'm insane. Like we know what the vibe is. We know what it is. Well, Cam, I mentioned, you started at Montana. You played a ton of games there, which for a young keeper, I think is way more rare than people think. Like, I think it's actually wild to be sort of your age collegiately and have that much experience. So you come in with a lot of chops, but you landed in the portal. What was going through your mind when you're in that portal in terms of what you were looking for? Like, how did Minnesota get on your radar? And just talk a little bit about that process of, I think, all the drama internally players have to go through of like deciding to go in and then officially going in, and then it hits and then it's happening. And what was that process like for you?
Yeah, I have obviously zero experience with the portal. And, I was kind of, after the end of this last season, I was kind of in a bit of a awkward area in terms of academics. I'm in a position to graduate early. Obviously, I have like you said, several years of eligibility remaining, and so it was just kind of like awkward with school. And I also I'm a very academic person, and so for me, I've always wanted to put school first. And in terms of like a graduate program, like I really, really wanted to focus on like a good school academically that could fulfill my academic needs. And so I went into the portal very open-minded. I had a select few schools that I was very interested in.
Okay.
Very short list, and ironically, Minnesota was on there. And so, within 2 days of being in the portal, I had reached out to coach, and I heard back from her, and it just really got the ball rolling. And then, a couple weeks of talking, went out to Minnesota, had a great time in Minneapolis, and then made the decision actually on New Year's Eve to become a Gopher. And so
Nice. Well, you're this Aaron era of the Gopher Soccer program is having some there's some carryover in your academic nerdiness transfer vibe of like Gabby Cesaroni was the ultimate example of this. Like, she talked about when she did her undergrad search, she like only looked at academic programs and then just like happened to email the soccer programs and say, hey, by the way, I'm really good at soccer. Do you want me to play? And then she came here, for her public health masters. For those who don't know, Cam is a political science major, and apologies to all Equal Time viewers. They know Mark and I are both absolute political nerds. So Cam, I'm assuming you came here, you said you were searching based on academics, so you wanted to come to the Humphrey and like get your MPP? What are we doing? What's the program?
Not 100% sure. I'm actually following the direction that Gabby has gone.
Okay.
I'm going to the MPH program first,
Okay.
and then public policy is also on there. And obviously, like you said, the Humphrey School of Public Policy is up there. So I've kind of like tried to always just set myself up for the most success, not necessarily focused. Obviously, I did my undergrad in poli-sci, and I don't necessarily want to continue like specifically just directly down the public policy international relations side, except instead like expand my range. Ultimately, I want to go to law school, but if that doesn't work out, I have something to fall on. I have a poli-sci degree, and then hopefully something else in a master's. So, yeah.
Is there, we were talking even before we started recording, like the political science is not the most common women's soccer major, at least in my and your experience. Maybe the rest of the world has tons of poli-sci like soccer players, but I'm just wondering, is there going to be like a sort of sub caucus of all you political nerds? Like, is it going to be you, Elizabeth Overberg? I can't remember who else is left. Like Lainey graduated, so she's gone. Gabby was kind of political. Is there going to be? Are we going to get a political nerd crew? Like, am I going to be able to do a whole show with you all and talk campaigns, talk politics?
I don't know. I think that'd be pretty interesting. I mean, um, Elizabeth Overberg was my host when I was on my
Yeah.
visit, and it was I didn't know she was a poli sci major, and we just kind of struck up the conversation. She's like, "Hey, I'm a poli sci major," and I was like, "Wait, no way, another like soccer poli sci major?" Because I think in general, like I've maybe ever only had one or two student athletes ever in any of my political science classes. So it's really cool to like hear that there are other people on this team that have, similar
Love it.
experiences with undergrad. And so, yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah.
I listen. Equal Time always tries to socialize positivity about transferring. Like, not every student's going to find the right spot the first time. And we're also here to socialize positivity about politics.
Mhm.
So everyone get very political. Everyone get super nerdy, like get super into it. So Cam, I was, I was able to watch some clips of your film out in Montana. But for those who have, not watched a ton of Big Sky Soccer and have not tuned in to see the Grizz, which is a really cool program, and Chris is doing really good work out there. But for those who haven't like tuned into that program, how would you describe your game? Like, what certain things do you take pride in? What kind of specialty do you think you bring to sort of the keeper crew that you're now going to be spending every minute of your life with for the next like several years?
Obviously, Montana's a great program. I love it, like near and dear to my heart. I still train with them. I still talk to everyone. They mean a lot to me. And I think I'm most grateful for what Montana provided me with the most, which was confidence and someone who believed in me and believed in you know the
Mm-hmm.
like growing me. Out of high school, I wasn't the most heavily recruited player. I knew I was good, but I wasn't the most like statistically best performing goalkeeper. I didn't really start until my senior year of high school
Right.
with my club, so that was really difficult in terms of recruiting. But I just really needed someone to take a chance on me. I knew I could perform. I knew I could, bring what I had to bring. And Chris at Montana, um, took that chance on me, believed in me, believed in the person I
Mm-hmm.
am, believed in how I played. And so, yeah. And then once I got to Montana, I was really able to like showcase what I think I'm best at, which is distribution. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
modern like goalkeeper. Everyone likes to use that term.
Yeah.
I think it's super important to have. I mean, you are the 11th player on the field, and it's expected that the 11th player contributes as much as every other player does. And so I
Yeah.
think that, and then also just experience. I think I've been in like every possible situation, you know, at college soccer, at the college soccer level at
Right.
this point. I know what to expect. I know what to expect out of others. I know what to expect out of a program. And then I know the standard that a program, a team, a culture should be. So, yeah, I'm really, really excited.
Nice. I like, yeah, distribution. That's very true. It's very in vogue for keepers now. It's like everyone needs to actually know how to kick the ball, which is great. And I'm really curious too. You talked about your official visit. Uh, we desperately try to get the real talk from recruits on here too about like what was your visit like, and everyone is too polite and too strategic and too savvy to not give us the craziest party details or anything wild, but like all jokes aside, what are those visits like? Like, what do what do you go into? Okay, I'm considering Minnesota. I like their grad programs. They even have, a good law school, whatever, like all these academic tie-ins. But then when you get the invite to come to the official visit, you set it all up and you're coming here. What are like the goals you have for what you need out of the weekend? Like are you like a mixture of like, is the team vibe good in terms of the teammates versus like how's the campus feel versus, oh, what if I can meet with someone from like this program, like this literal academic leader or something? What's all the stuff that goes into that for people who have never had to do like that kind of, okay, weekend, like dive in. What do I need to get out of this to make a decision?
Yeah, obviously, you have a very short time period with official visits, so it's really busy, really crammed day. Um, I think, like you said, academics is important to me, and it's obviously a very important part in being a collegiate athlete. But I think before any of that, the most important thing is meeting the team, meeting the players, meeting the coaches, and
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you spend, if not every second of every day with them. And, if the team, the school could be Ivy League, but you might not like the team, you might not mesh with the team, you might
Right.
not connect with the coaches. And in the end, if you're not happy with the team that you're on at this school, then why go to this school? So,
Uh-huh.
I had I focused I already knew that Minnesota was a really good academic program,
Right.
and I was pretty confident about that going in, and it was more about, the team culture, the girls, and,
Mm-hmm.
just seeing how, a day-to-day life is and how, the social aspect is. So I had really good time hanging out with them, got to know a couple of the girls, got to meet, pretty much everyone, watched practices, watched how they, connected on the field. That's really important, and then obviously got to watch, coach
Mm-hmm.
interact with the players, and yeah, it really sold it for me.
How do they how do the coaches, like, obviously in a transfer situation, even more I think than original like undergrad recruiting, like a program obviously wants you to, like, there it's a little bit more two-sided to, in my mind, like a little bit more like program needs, and so I'm always really curious like how the U sells itself like to transfers. Like they're talking to someone who's been at, maybe it's not a power five, but it's like a really good, it's a good team, like a winning team at, like, I think a pretty well regarded, university, whatever. They're talking to you, they know what you care about. But like what was Gopher Soccer's pitch to you? Like what do they, when you have to watch like the 7 PowerPoints in a row from like every different part of the program? I'm really curious, like how do they sell the program to you? Like what's the spiel that they hit you with of saying like this is why you'd be good, this is why we're good for you, like come to us?
I think it depends with every recruit, and I think every coach really needs to get to know what each player is looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the staff at Minnesota knew that academics was a huge part in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and so they really like pitched the academics piece super hard. I think my first interview actually when I was on campus was with Kyle, the academic advisor for
Yeah,
women's soccer, and I had such a great time talking with him and like
they love
just
Kyle. I don't know. I can't remember if I've mentioned Kyle on the show before, but like he's super well regarded. I try and hype up all the support staff. Like I always talk about SJ and Corey and like all these people. Kyle is like insanely well regarded, the academic advisor for the team. He's like super beloved in those halls.
Yeah, totally, and he's like so he even like I wasn't even committed at the time, and he was so supportive of like walking me through all the potential opportunities, how we can make things work, and like obviously as I'm now in the application process, he's been with me every step of the way, and so um, the staff really pitched the academic piece hard for me, and then really I also emphasized that I really wanted a great team culture, and so
Right.
um, we got to go see a hockey game, hung out with the girls, like I said. And ironically, it was the weekend of the National College Cup. And
Okay.
so a pretty large group of us got to watch both games together and just, I wasn't even committed yet. And I felt like I was really bonding. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Cam and is it Zhu? How do we pronounce the last name?
Cam Zoo. Zoo, like you're going
Zoo.
to the
Got it.
zoo. Yeah.
Cam Zoo, incoming keeper transfer for Gopher Soccer. Cam, so excited to see you suited up this fall. Thanks for joining us, and we'll have to learn more about politics,
Oh,
Canada,
yeah.
everything next. We'll have to have you on again. Thanks so much.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a great one.